Yeah, I was at a pub on Saturday, not like a raging one or anything, just a lovely place in Mossman, just to have some lunch. And then we stayed to watch the grand final, which was on in the afternoon. And yeah, I was just there with my partner and he knew the guy actually, and they were having a chat and the guy was actually quite nice and we were having a bit of a chat, but he'd had a few drinks, definitely. And then yeah, a couple of times Todd had gotten up to either go to the toilet or go to the bar. He kind of come in a little bit close and I felt, just a little bit uncomfortable. And then I got up at one stage. I'd walked over to the sports bar bit just to look at what time the NRL grand final was starting the next day because Todd and I were talking about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And he kind of came up behind me and was very close, standing very close and talking. And then, yeah, just grabbed me on the bottom, I guess you'd call it. And it was really, I don't know, I kind of felt like I was a little bit in shock at the time and not really understanding what had just happened. And I didn't even react then, which I think back, should I have reacted or said something or, I think a lot of women can relate. You actually, sometimes you actually don't know what to do. And, I'm a fairly strong person. I stand up for things and fight for things, but I think I was just so shocked, and not because it had happened, because it's happened to me before. It's actually quite normal, which is awful if you're a woman going out or doing things, but it had been a fairly long time. And anyway, I went back to the table, sat down, and Todd kind of said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh, nothing." And this is the thing as well, is that my immediate thought is I don't want to cause trouble. I don't want to make a scene.
Yeah.
I don't want there to be drama. I don't want him to get in trouble. It's so utterly ridiculous. But anyway, Todd said, no, tell me now. I said, I'll tell you later. He said, tell me now. And I told him, and yeah, someone went to grab the guy and kind of said something to him, obviously what I just conveyed to Todd. And he came back over and it was interesting because he didn't even look at me. He didn't try and deny it. He was just looking at my partner and he just kept saying, I'm sorry, which I thought was bizarre. And then, my partner got pretty angry and
scuffle.
Yeah, look, a confrontation, I guess. And I kind of got in the middle and just grabbed Todd and said, "It's not worth it. Let's go." And then they kicked him out. And yeah, it's I'm not traumatized by it at all. I'm not. I'm not. I'm pretty robust and battle hardened, I reckon, in a lot of spaces. But I'm also really conscious that just because I'm not doesn't mean that someone else in that position would be. And it doesn't say to men that it's okay, because it's not. I kept thinking, like, what had I done? And this is the issue we have with so much of this stuff. And as women, we then start to question ourselves. And I'm thinking, we'd been to the beach and I'm wearing swimmers and a crochet dress.
Yeah, of course, that's ridiculous.
And what had I given off in any interaction with him whilst I'm sitting there with my partner that he would have thought in his mind that I would have been someone that was comfortable or okay with him doing that in a public place when I've got a partner and I've never met him before, grabbing me and not just touching, but almost clawing back there in a very private place. Yeah. And I just kept thinking in my mind, what did I do for him to think it was okay? And then I'm like, it's just, And so anyway, it's just awful that it still happens. He's been banned for
6 months from the venue.
Yeah. And as I said, I'm completely fine, but it just makes me angry that
you're not going to take it further. I know the police have been.
No, look, I didn't. I find it quite humiliating. I find the whole thing. I find the fact that it's in the paper humiliating. I got a call the next day from a reporter at another news organisation that I won't name, and you kind of, obviously there are a lot of people there, and it's gotten out, but I find the whole thing humiliating. I got a text message yesterday from the police. I know, but I know, and it's and then I feel I just feel embarrassed by it.
Well,
and then
I think we appreciate your honesty in describing the situation, and
but it's just not it's just not okay on any level. But the police did send me a text message yesterday, and I rang them. They asked me to call, and no, I'm not doing. I'm not taking it any further. I was happy with, the outcome at the pub and that they banned him, and, I'd just rather leave it there.